G'day, Paul Arandale and Geoff Stevenson, back for Season 2 of The Shed, now the CRL Show. Confusing? Oh, well, that's what we're here for.
Probably as confusing as how The Shed ended last year, because we were not in lockdown, then we were, and then that was it.
We still are in a shed, believe it or not, and setting up here, just found a snake skin down here in the corner, so, if you see one of us go down, you know what's happened.
Yeah, and plenty of mozzies around for the Japanese encephalitis that we may catch. Might be missing in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, well, so we're just about to get into the crux of another big year of country rugby league, all up down the eastern seaboard and also around the traps of Australia. There's heaps of footy coming our way, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that this year, I think most people we've been talking to and been around are kind of pushing, without saying it out loud, stability, because last year and the year before I think if everyone thought it was feeling fine and stable, then suddenly COVID completely decimated the competitions, and everyone sort of left last year with a bit of a bad taste in their mouth. I know a lot of teams that were leading the comp before lockdowns feel a bit like, oh, did we win it really?
It's kind of funny you say that. There's a few out there who claim that, yes, we're the premiers, we're the champions, there's the others who, we're on top of the ladder, but, but look,
Yeah, and there are a lot of comps where the top of the ladder is quite congested.
Yep.
I know Newcastle was kind of like that. You could sort of see a lot of teams coming in with a bit of form. I know West, we were talking about at one stage, we're going to come home with a wet sail, and they didn't get that opportunity. So it's one of those debates that'll probably never end. What can you say? No one. There'll always be people saying, well, whoever's leading the comp into that lockdown, that's it. They deserve it.
Well,
others were claiming, there were some claiming that a grand final still should be played, maybe this year at the start of the year or what. And I don't know. Personally, I'm happy to let it fly and go.
Yeah, well, that's what happened back in WW1 and 2. Some comps never got played. So look, in 10 years' time, maybe even in 3 years' time, we're like, won't ever remember all the rubbish that happened in 21 and
that's
2020.
Right.
So,
and you're right. The main thing is, I guess, everyone's healthy, and with all emergent clubs seem to be pretty healthy coming out of it. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, so back in 2022, coming up on Bar TV Sports, we've got the usual suspects. Happy to announce that Newcastle Rugby League's back, the Northern Rivers are back, Gold Coast Rugby League Gold Coast, I should say, I beg your pardon, Canberra Rugby League, Illawarra, Group 7, Cronulla Juniors. Have I left anyone out? I don't know, probably. There's that much, and probably heaps more to come this year. So, you can subscribe, watch all the footy that you can think of on Bar TV Sports.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And things are warming up. There's competition starting this week, and just give it a couple of weeks' time, they'll all be running, and we'll won't have the time to talk about all the games that'll be on.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? That's what we want. And the reason we're kicking off today is because Rugby League Gold Coast Round 1 kicks off with Super Sunday, 4 games of A grade, all at Tugan's Ground, the Boyd Street Oval. That's going to be an entertaining Sunday afternoon. They always get a good crowd there at Tugan, and fingers crossed the weather can hold off Sunday there, but it's a ripper concept. And also Newcastle Rugby League kicks off this Saturday too with 4 games. Then the match of the round on Sunday between the Butcher Boys and Maitland, which I believe from last year was 1v2, possibly 1v3.
Yeah, and again the weather might be a little bit of a factor. Yeah, but yeah, bring it on. Yeah.
So all that to look forward to. But Geoff, just not the comps that we cover on Bar TV Sports. We try to dig in and see what's happening else around the traps, and you got a bit of info for us.
Oh yeah, I've been up and down this fine brown land and picked up a bit of information from various groups around the groups, and a lot of it is around. This time of year, every competition's got the NRL players that have either signed, returned to their junior clubs, or that kind of thing. So there's a little bit going on there. There's the much publicised Sam Burgess to Aurora Valley, which I was talking to people last year, they just thought it probably wouldn't happen. They thought that he would then sign with somewhere, England maybe and stuff, but it seems to be going okay so far. He's talking about maybe playing, and I think it's an NRL release that's slowing him down as much as anything.
Yeah.
Or that's the excuse he's providing because he might not want to lace the boots up, because I think it would be quite confronting to sort of go from semi-retired to sort of back into the fray.
Yeah. No, look, whether he plays or not, it's created interest.
Yeah.
And, so well done. I hope good luck to the Aurora Valley Axemen. They've had a couple of tough years, not fielding last year, and it's good to see them back.
It's great if a team is coming back. I hope they aren't using all the money up on Sam or anything like that, but it's great to come back with a bang, and they're definitely going to be doing that. They'll get crowds, no doubt, straight away. Now, Chris Sandow, who I think there's a few of these players I mentioned that had aspirations for NRL, and then those aspirations didn't occur. Yeah. Often they go to England, or often they go somewhere else, and they're starting to sort of filter into the country areas. Chris came back from England. I don't know what happened, what he played much last year. But he was aspiring to come back to the NRL and didn't get any offers. So he signed with Casino, so he'll be playing for the Cougars.
The Cougars, yeah.
It's probably up there at a time where they probably needed some inspiration up there after all the floods and things. So he needs someone to kind of inspire the town.
He was one of my favourite players in the NRL because he was that cheeky old school halfback and so it'll be great to see him run around and just his experience, I think, will give the Cougars a bit of a boost for sure. Yeah,
and I'm the same. I remember before NRL was playing Queensland Cup, I think he stepped the whole team once. Like he stepped 13 players and scored by himself. Yeah. But he'll be. What I'll be interested in is when Casino plays Byron Bay, and it'll be the battle of Sandow and Carney. Which will make it interesting kind of, even their kicking games and that kind of stuff will be very interesting.
Yeah,
so that'll be a good clash to look forward to this year. Josh Dugan was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Sort of a curveball. He signed with Orange United in the Woodridge Cup.
Yeah.
I'm guessing not one of the big clubs. I don't think it's even the biggest club in Orange.
No.
Not even near the biggest club in Orange, let alone and the rest of the state. He apparently is playing for free.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is another kind of, I don't know what Chris and that are getting, and Sam are getting paid necessarily, but on top of that, other reports I'm hearing from Murph, our man on the street, who has filled me in with a lot of juicy information, stuff that I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, yet, or maybe at all. But he was saying also Josh is getting a lot of resources out there. So he's seeing that there are juniors that need boots and that kind of stuff, and he's helping organise that because he's still got connections in the city. So good on. From what I hear, good on Josh Dugan for kind of doing it for the different reasons. I don't know the right reason, but getting out there and doing it to support the code rather than kind of make a quick buck or that kind of stuff. So, not that I'm saying the next group are making a quick buck, but Thirlmere, the Roosters have made probably two of the biggest signings of in country rugby league this year at least, and clearly two of the most controversial. They've signed Blake Ferguson.
Yeah,
fresh out of Japanese jail, and Curtis Scott, who has just been sacked. Scott. Yeah. Now Curtis is 24 years old. That's the other thing too. Like he could play a decade or two at Thirlmere, but for the moment he's there. Apparently they're getting paid a couple of grand a game, which is I'm not sort of like, especially some guys that might need the money. I'm not going to sort of poo-poo the idea of them getting paid. So
Thirlmere's in the old Group 6, which is now the MacArthur League or something. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tony Williams has signed with one of the Campbelltown teams.
Picton.
Picton, there you go.
So T-Rex is at Picton. Wow. It's said this shouldn't be that massive a deal, but it does add a bit of flavour to the competitions. Anyway, the controversy is that the old boys at Thirlmere don't like the quality, or I guess the moral kind of quality of the players, not the performance. And they've a whole bunch of them have just left the old boys and sort of given up being a part of them. The old boys aren't attached to the club, but they donate to the club.
Right. Okay.
And I think some of these old guys are saying, look, if we don't donate to you guys, we might influence your decision to keep these players. And they've said, look, these guys have been given millions of chances. We won't go into the kind of legal and the kind of issues that they've had off the field, but the reason they're not playing NRL, particularly Curtis Scott, is because no one wants to sign him because of some of the things he's got up to. So it's one of those funny ones. Apparently, the quote of the I got from somebody at Thirlmere was that apparently Curtis is very popular after training at the pub, which is probably the worst thing you could possibly say about the guy. They could have said, he's been training the lights down. You know what they all say this time of year. You know, they're training his butt off and stuff. But no, he's going well at the pub apparently. But you know what? It's one of those things. It's a very rugby league story.
Yeah.
The redemption story. Every player deserves a second chance. If it's not going to be a country club that's going to offer these guys second chances, then what? They don't play again ever? Like, it's a tough one.
Look, when they're bringing people through the gate at the local level, I'm sure. Yeah, all will be forgotten. Like I wish the guys the best, and especially Curtis Scott. He's still young. You know, hopefully it's a stepping stone for him to possibly get back to the NRL. And
troubled. I think he would accept that. Troubled is probably a word you'd use with him. I think Blake Ferguson's old enough now that he just gets up to, he does dumb stuff. You know, I'm not saying justifying what he does, but I think Curtis Scott is someone that needs a bit of direction.
Yeah,
and maybe it's what I kind of find compelling about these stories are. You're probably not going to get away with much. You'll get away with less in a country town than you would in an NRL club because the NRL's a bit protective and people leave you alone a little bit. But if you were mucking around, you know, like if Josh Dugan, say, not saying he would, but let's say he had a night on the tiles at Orange, did dumb stuff, it'd be around the town before dawn. Like everyone would know about it. So I think there might be that element where they do realise, oh, okay, there's a consequence. If I muck around at the pub, people are going to know about it straight away. So it could be a really good thing. But again, you can't ignore the fact that they've committed some pretty, I don't know, reckless, careless stuff to get to this point.
Oh, geez, we're sort of turning into a moral podcast here.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on.
Yeah, I know. What else can I say about that? I don't know.
Look, as I say, all the best to the guys and the clubs involved. Yeah, as I say, you know, hopefully we get some good crowds, good results, and some good stories throughout the year. And
they could develop into, these guys could maybe, some of the older guys there, maybe not Curtis, could develop into coaches and go back to the community a little bit like Corbin Sims, you know, like go back and go, you know what, I really like this. I don't want to, this isn't just for the 2,000 a week or whatever. I want to be a part of this club ongoing or this group or whatever it is. So that can't be a bad thing.
Yeah. Anything else?
Other things. Look, thousands of things I could talk about, but I won't say them all. The great Group 10, Group 11 merger.
Yep.
What we've talked about it all last year on the shed. It's done, dusted, draw is out. It's called the Peter McDonald Premiership.
Yep.
Named after Peter McDonald.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got to do a bit more research. I don't know much about Peter McDonald, but if anyone does, contact us because I'd like to know more about this guy. He's been obviously someone of note out there. They're going to play. There's been so many drafts to the draw. They've finally got to the point where they're happy with essentially the two groups still operating as groups.
Yeah.
They have crossover games. I think the first round is a bit of a crossover round where Group 10 and Group 11 teams will play each other sometimes for the first time, some of them. And then at the end of the season, the Group 11, Group 10 kind of conferences will have that. The minor premiers will be kind of called the winners of those groups. And then it's a top 4 finals where 2 from each.
Sorry, man. I think I just got taken out by a mozzie or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Watch anyway, getting temperature. No, you're okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then
next week.
The top 2 of each group basically play for to win the Peter McDonald Premiership. So after all that discussion we had last year, in the end it's kind of just turned into 2 groups and like a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Whereas
last year it could have been anything. At one stage, I just merged the whole lot, or they were going to have a 10-team top tier and a 10-team bottom tier. This is what, all I could say is this is what the clubs wanted. I think there was lots of consultation, and they've decided on this sort of setup. So I'll be interested to watch.
Yeah.
I think it could be quite compelling because I think there's a lot of energy out there about teams that have never played each other that now will be playing each other. I think Orange plays Trangie, this week. I don't think they've played each other before. So there'll be that kind of, that year of like firsts, I guess. And it's all part of this one state plan where they want to kind of rebrand, merge. The New South Wales Rugby League's looking at this kind of like rebranding maybe. It's a bit of a trend these days. Yeah. And re-energising, I guess, those groups. So like you said, Group 6 is now called the MacArthur Conference competition. Apart from that, all they've really done is kind of, I guess, streamline juniors to seniors in that area. They're not really, there's no merging, there's no working with other Group 6 or 16 or whatever. They are just renamed. And West's Tigers are involved with them as well, which is an interesting thing. They've become involved, and what they're doing is basically they're involved now with East Campbelltown Eagles, and it's a pathway now. You can play Group 6. If you're playing for East Campbelltown, you now can work your way through the Ron Massey, Shield, West Magpies, and theoretically into the NRL, which isn't a bad idea. I like that idea of getting an NRL club where they at least provide some pathway where you can end up in the big league.
Yeah, all right. Well, Illawarra's too. They've had a little bit of a makeover. Nigel Roy, the former Steeler, and I think he might also have been with the North Sydney Bears. He's taken over the reins down there at Illawarra, the Mojo Homes Cup, and they've got De La Salle, Cronulla Caringbah, and Helensburgh are returning to the top grade. So that'll boost what was a 5-team competition last year with those 3 new teams. Obviously, that'll boost it up, and it will be good to see a couple of the Cronulla Shire teams up against the Illawarra that might have the West Devils and
Collies and stuff.
Yeah, Collies, yep. I was going to say Corrimal, but nothing against Corrimal, but yeah.
And it kind of, I guess, that kind of aligns with how the NRL has been for years, where you've got the Southern Sydney and Illawarra kind of working together with St George Illawarra. So I guess that's probably like another thing where they should get the Dragons really involved with that in some way or another.
All right. There's a lot of news there.
There's a lot of news. I've got more, but I can hold it back till next week if you like.
We might have to do 2 shows. Come back. It's we're touching on the Group 2 with Sam Burgess, Greg Inglis is with Bellinger Magpies.
One I forgot,
One of my favourite local rugby league players here in Newcastle. He's left the Rosellas and he's signed with the South Grafton Red Devils. That's Ryan Walker. He'll be a big asset up there, and the Grafton, South Grafton derby. It's going to be an absolute ripper. Watch out for Ryan Walker up there in the Group 2. It's a shame we won't get to see him on Bar TV, but good luck.
I'm surprised it was a good get for them because he had a great year last year.
Yep. As we said, it was your Newcastle Rugby League. It kicks off this weekend, and we went along to the season launch last night, and we caught up with a couple of the guys heading into round 1. Well, we got the skipper of the Maitland Piggers, Alex Langbridge. Mate, long off-season for you. You're cracking ready to go?
Yeah, it has been a long off-season. There's plenty of preparation and training last year that meant for nothing. So, really looking forward to getting stuck in this year and hopefully just actually completing a season.
Right, we've got the CEO from Newcastle Rugby League, Mark Glanville. Welcome, 2022. It's almost here.
It is indeed, and really looking forward to it. I mean, I believe it's going to be probably the tightest competition we've seen in a long time. I don't know who's going to be the favourite. Maybe Maitland's probably a favourite at the moment, but I think it'll be a really close competition.
Got any sledges lined up for any of the boys?
I do, but if I said it now, you'd probably have to beep it.
Mate, it's Bar TV. You're allowed to say anything you want.
Yeah, true. Oh, but I don't know. I'll save it for them anyway. We're just talking about a couple then about... I was throwing out a bit of might have how tight my jersey will be on the weekend. I just want to get it out there before they start saying I look fat.
Mate, who should we watch out for this year? Who are the smokies in the Newcastle competition? Besides Lakes.
Besides us, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what the other teams have got. I know Maitland will be hard to beat again. We always have tough games against Macquarie. We played them in a trial and they were decent again. Central, I think. They played them last Thursday and they were. I didn't really know who they had, but they looked alright in the first half against us. So maybe Central.
Any blokes we should look out for this year? Don't give too much away.
Yeah, mate. No, look, the whole group's been pretty good. We're sort of a little bit different. We haven't gone and sought big name players, but we've got a lot of bush kids and bush players. So. They've played at high levels where they're from, so mate, I'm looking forward to them guys coming down, test themselves in the Newcastle Comp and see how we go.
Right, mate, so all the best for 2022. Hopefully we have no hiccups this year and we can get through a season unscathed.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, it's been disappointing the last 2 years. I mean, we had to have a competition 2 years ago where it was players weren't paid, so some players, the good players, didn't play, and then last year no semi-finals, no grand finals. So fingers crossed we get a full season this year, although they are forecasting a fair bit of rain for the weekend. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate. Well, all the best for 2022.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be a great comp, and please, if you're wanting some rugby league, live rugby league, go and watch your team play. There's some great football and footballers out there as well.
Yeah, thanks to all those guys for taking time out to have a quick chat. Geez, I ask those hard questions, don't I?
Well, I mean, it's hard enough this year to say who do you think's going to win. So that's actually like a tough. Mark was right. It's going to be a very close, tight comp. It was compelling last year, and then we kind of, like I said, had a bad taste in my mouth afterwards because we never got to see what Maitland were going to end up doing, or whether West were going to keep pushing for the finals.
They were the two unknowns, and I think the Pickers set the benchmark, and West's youngsters proved that you can turn a season around. But I'm just interested to see how long the entrants go and how they all lift. But
and that was sort of like, I think it's a credit to those new teams because they performed quite well last year. They weren't ever going to push for, grand final representation or anything, but they were pretty solid in their return, I guess. So they sort of returning to the comp. But I don't know what to say about it this year. It's going to be a really, really close comp.
Well, it's just about to ask you your tips. This weekend, round 1 kicks off Newcastle. 4 games on Saturday. If you want to watch them, if you can't make it to the ground, you go to bartvsports.com.au. You can subscribe, and part of your subscription goes back to helping grassroots football. Macquarie v Souths. That should be a beauty there at Lyle Peacock. A lot of South Newcastle boys playing in the Scorps. Should be a good clash.
There'll be some. I guess as we always talk this time of year, we'll see how they've trained up to this point and see whether they come in fresh or they're a bit flat or that kind of thing. And a few new players means new combinations that need to be sorted out.
Well, I think they had one trial. That was the problem too. Trials being washed out, and it's just not here. It's everywhere. Yeah. At Curry, they didn't get a trial at all. They take on Lakes, who they only had a trial last Thursday night. That'll be a tough one. Aaron Watts at the helm there at the Bulldogs, and also Burke, a former winner of the Newcastle comp back in 2005 and 6. So
Lakes will be not the Smokies. I'm not going to say to go that far, but they'll be the mixed bag of the comp, I think, this year. No one quite knows, I think, what to expect from them until we get a few rounds in.
Always a good clash is the Go-Inners against the Rosellas at Cessnock Sports Ground. That'll be a beauty. Yeah.
And I'm interested to see whether West, what did they do? They've had this really bad start last year. Will they come this year and like all guns blazing because they don't want to have another start like that? Or was it quite demoralising to have that push and then we're out? So I'm interested to see what West are going to do this year, because I remember this is what I do when we're on break. I was watching old episodes of The Shed.
Jeez,
that old show we used to be on, and but they were saying, I remember we were talking about Todd Lowry losing his gig. Not about I don't know, like not this time last year, but it was about May last year. We were saying, well, is he going to lose his job? And he hasn't, and I think they would have ended the season going, you know what, we'll give you a pass mark on that.
Yeah, no, he did a great job, and so did all those youngsters at Wests. Wong v the Entrants, the Central Coast Derby. Again, the Entrants, this is 2 years in a row, they haven't been able to play a trial.
Oh, God.
So Wong, they had a trial and looked pretty sharp against Maitland. Again, a trial, but at least they got one under their belt. So that'll be a tough clash there at Morrie Breen on Saturday afternoon. And
the key with these trials are probably also the lower grades not getting a run.
Yeah.
So you can't really get a sense of who's kind of going to be someone who could slot in if there's an injury or someone can't play or what has happened this week. You've got no idea.
Yeah.
So, it'll be tough.
And on Sunday, the match of the round, Central host the Maitland Pickers. This will be a good clash. It'll be a beauty, actually.
Yeah.
Maitland, benchmark last year. Can Central step up or do they slide backwards? Round 1, we'll probably assess this mid-season, but it's going to be a real interesting clash first up. Central, only the one trial. Maitland had a run 2 weeks ago as well. So.
And I don't make big calls, but I could see Central coming out all guns blazing in this game and winning it. I think Central's problem, from what I've seen the past year and previous seasons, are they need consistency. They'll towel up a team one week and then go down to a team that's lesser or more likely to lose to them the week after. So it's good if they can beat Maitland this week. That beyond that, they're going to have to start winning, more consistently, I think.
All right, we'll move up north. Rugby League Gold Coast kicks off round 1 Super Sunday. All 4 A-grade games at the Boyd Street Oval in Tugun. So if you can't get to Tugun this weekend, this Sunday, we can watch it all on Bar TV Sports. It kicks off 11 a.m. local time, so 12 our time, I think.
Yeah.
Southport v Burleigh. Southport, the Smokies last year.
Yeah.
No Israel, no T-Rex. Burleigh have also lost a few that have made the they've graduated to Q Cup, so it'll be an interesting clash to kick
where's
things
Israel?
off. He's in Japan.
Oh, so he ended up.
I think maybe the authorities got the wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's found a third millionaire to play for.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, funny you say. We talk about T-Rex and Izzy, but some of those games we watched late in the season with Southport, there were a bunch of other players around that were playing really well as well. I think they grabbed the attention, but there was some quality, especially in their backline.
Yeah.
Just wait and see.
Now, almost Shearers, they're back. They dropped back to the second division last year, struggled with players. Helensvale, they're in their second year in the top grade, and they got Tagatese there at the Hornets, but it'll be a pretty interesting, even clash, you'd think. But
I think the Hornets will be. They know what it's like to have that year where you only win a game and that kind of stuff. They'll be absolutely champing to win this game, knowing that it's one of those games they've got a real shot at to get it and to get an early win in. So I could imagine they'll come out pretty hard.
The third game is Currumbin, the Eagles taking on the Runaway Bay Seagulls. Now, Currumbin, they blooded a lot of youngsters last year. Runaway Bay had a shocking run with injuries. This will be a really good clash, this one. I'm not sure. I'll say the Seagulls.
Yeah.
All the Currumbin guys, they'll be jumping up and down, but no sitting on the fence here. I'll say the Seagulls.
They'll be heading into the evening as well. It's going to be a great night up there. I'm guessing there'll be night games if you start at 11.
Yeah, well, the last one, Tugun and Mudgee Bar set down for 3:30 local time.
Right.
But rugby league goes. There's stoppages.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Fingers crossed, there's no injuries. But so it could be a little later start the final game. But fingers crossed they get through it. But the final game, Tugun v the Redbacks. That'll be a good way. The runners-up, Mudgee Bar, they got into the top 5 last year, and they'll be looking to improve. So,
and a good concept. I think for a first round, especially, it's a good concept. Get everyone together, get a decent crowd there, and just have an absolute smorgasbord of rugby league at a time where everyone's just desperate for it. So,
well, they've done the same thing with the lower grades. They'll be playing Saturday. So, I think the under-18s are at Glennon Park, and the DLC, the reserve grade competition, that's at Brian Harris Oval. I might have them back to front too. I should know that.
You're doing all right, just from your memory. You're doing better than I would.
So they're basically having a Super Saturday for those 2 grades as well at separate grounds, and then round 2 they go back to the home and away.
Can we call it a magic round?
I think there
needs to be called magic rounds everywhere.
Yeah, Super Sunday, whatever. But, good stuff from Rugby League Gold Coast. Something different.
Yeah.
If it works, you keep going with it. If not, you discuss it at the end of the year.
I mean, the good thing, especially with Bar TV covering it as well, is that other comps can just sit back and observe. And it might be that you just give some people, some comps out there an idea of, let's just give this a bash next year.
And, on that point, the Tugun v the Mudgee Bar Redbacks, that is the match of the round. All the other games, all 4 games on Sunday will be commentated. So if you want to watch any of the other games, you just go to bartvsports.com.au, subscribe, and you're helping grassroots footy grow.
Yep, and I always talk about it every round, I think. Those miserable Saturdays, miserable Sunday. I think it's going to be a bit of a week of bad weather. What else are you going to do? Sit on the couch on Sunday and watch all 4 games?
All right, that's pretty much it for the first CRL show, formerly known as The Shed. We are broadcasting from a shed each week. Yep. Who knows where we'll end up next week. But before we go, Geoff, I'll just throw this on you. What's a story or a headline we may read throughout 2022?
Ooh, right, without notice. Curtis Scott joins the Brotherhood, decides to be a priest. Maybe, I don't know. Is that pushing it?
I was thinking of a rugby league story. I'll start off. Yeah. I'll say South Grafton Rebels to win the Group 2 rugby league competition.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'll say mine will be that Chris Sandow will come out as just he'll be almost in the form of his career, because I think he's been a bit lost, and I think sometimes these players sort of aspire to come back to the NRL. They don't quite know what they want.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he'll just find playing at the Northern Rivers Regional Rugby League is just like, this is what I need right now in my not just career but life kind of thing. And I'd say he might push him towards a premiership, which is pretty big call with Casino, but that'll be my call, that Casino... Well, I say grand finalists.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
May not even hear it anywhere else. So that's the first episode done and dusted. Next week we'll be back. We'll have a bit of the highlights from the opening 2 rounds of Newcastle Rugby League and Rugby League Gold Coast, and we can preview a few of the other comps as they happen, plus any more news. And as always, you guys help us out who watch. So if you've got any info, you can send information to rugbyleague@bartv.com.au or contacts at bartv sports, whatever. We can promote your events, your Old Boys Day, your Sponsors Day, whatever. Let us know, and we'll get it out there, give it a little bit of a plug.
Yeah, and get your head around what local club you'd like to donate your proceeds to when you become a member, when you become a subscriber, because it's a great idea, and it's good to start thinking ahead. You know, what's my local club that would really use that money?
Yep. All right, we're out of here. We'll go and watch some local footy on the weekend. Fingers crossed this weather stays away and we can get through a full round of fixtures. But until next week, we'll see you later.
Yeah, cheers.
Go, doggy!